Hello and welcome. We are being recorded, and so keep that in mind. Everyone will most likely stay muted in case you have any background noise, so we appreciate that. Our topic today is what is fascia and why is it important in all things fascia with the wonderful Rene Brackney. So we're really excited to have her today. Many of you know her, and if you don't, you might want to check her out. She's got some YouTubes and things to share. And of course, she'll be at Fitness Fest, and she's been at Fitness Fest for many years. I'm Janice Jakes, the owner of the Fitness Fest Conference and Expo, and we are excited about these weekly Zooms. We are having two next week. I'll share at the end of the session if I remember, but because most important, it's to talk about Rene Brackney and her share her wisdom with us. I just want to talk a little bit about Rene personally because Rene and I go back. I don't know how many years, Rene, but you and I worked together at Fitness
23?
Forum. How many?
23.
No way.
I can't believe
Wow.
we're just this young. We must have been teenagers.
Yeah, we must have been tiny tots.
Yeah.
So we worked together at Fitness Forum Health Club in Chandler. You taught Pilates there. I remember you did some workshops and seminars and all that. And then just obviously during and since then, just you're just such a creator and just always you're always seeking knowledge and trying to be better and better. You've been in the fitness industry for 25 years or over 25 years. You're of course a Pilates instructor. Renee is in her home right now where she has reformers. I have personally gotten to have one-on-one training with her. Elise, who's on the call as well. I know she has too. We've done some partnering together. She's just an amazing instructor and she's just so personal. Like every time I came in, it's like, okay, why is your foot turning that way? Okay, what's just really analyzing. So personal trainer, Pilates instructor, um, fascial stretch and neuro lymphatic therapist. I hope I'm saying that right. Renee can correct me and tell us more about her after I'm done rambling. And then just recently, Patrick Mummy with Symmetry for Health was at Fitness Fest, which he'll be there again. I know you'll be at his booth all day. You're a symmetry practitioner, and you just love for people to take control of their own health. And you sincerely mean that. And you show it in your work. And you work at Ability 360, our Fitness Fest venue as well, and just really help clients and patients. And I feel that you're such a giver, and we're really excited that you're sharing fascia with us today. So anything else you want to say about yourself, Renee? And then we'll get right into the topic.
I think I'm good. Thank you, Janice.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
So let's just first say, because even though many of us are on the call are fitness professionals and some are not, but regardless, I don't think some of us are not all clear on what is fascia and why is it important to know.
Well, it's kind of interesting because most people think of fascia as a covering around a muscle. And one of the examples I always see is, hey, look at the fascia around the chicken. And yes, but it's so much more than that. Fascia is it's a complete system in our body, much like our cardiovascular system, our pulmonary system, our musculoskeletal system. And what is so cool about the fascial system is that it interpenetrates and it communicates with all of the other systems. That is why we can say everything is connected. The first layer of fascia closest to our skin. So we have our skin, which also is extremely important. And just beneath our skin, we have these little tendrils, like hair-like tendrils, and they connect our first layer of fascia, our superficial fascia, to our skin. And I always joke and say, if we didn't have those little tendrils, we'd wake up the next morning and our ear would be behind our knee. And we'd be like finding our boob and putting it back on. So everything would be in a different place. So that's not just what it does, but it's close to our skin, and the relationship between the skin and the superficial fascia is so important when we are talking about pain and alignment, getting somebody into proper alignment, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. Then beneath that layer of fascia, you have your lymphatic system, and that kind of goes through. It's our sewage system, if you will, and it gets and helps us flush all the toxins out of our body. That is also very important to our fascial system. As we go deeper into the fascia, we do get into our deep fascia, and that does surround the muscle. It connects tendons and to bone and to muscle, and it completely interpenetrates that whole system. Then you have your visceral fascia, and that is what goes into our bone, into our muscle, and that would be more like the marbling you see in a steak, if you will. And it all communicates together. It's all made of collagen, elastin, the same types of fibers. And like I said, it communicates so that all of the fascia communicates to each other. When we talk about mobility and strength, we want to make sure that the fascia is slipping and sliding and gliding. It's housed in a very wet environment, our extracellular matrix. And if it isn't slipping and sliding, that's when we get adhesions. You've seen that with trigger points. Say you have a scar, and so for instance, I have a scar here on my wrist. It's been about 30 years since I had a ganglion cyst removed. And there is a scar here. Every once in a while, it gets tight, and I know it because my pinky starts to curl. In addition to that, my neck gets out of alignment. There is a fascial line from my pinky finger that goes all the way up, and we'll talk about these lines in class. But when we when we have adhesions from scar tissue or just from trigger points, that means that our fascia isn't slipping and sliding. When we have that, we have pain generally, or we have limited movement, limited strength, limited mobility. So it's all connected. The whole body's connected. Does that help?
I think it does. And I know you already
Okay.
touched on it, but
You,
yes,
you get
thank
me
you.
started and I won't stop. So I'm trying to
Well,
stay.
yes. Yeah. Well, that's good. I can relate. And we talked about that before we hopped on. I love it. And so and you kind of touched on it, but let's talk about training your fascia to enhance mobility. So enhance mobility, increase strength, and help you live pain-free. Whether
Yeah,
you want to break those questions answers up or
sure.
tie it all
Uh,
in, it's up to you.
Yeah, and well, like I said, it's all connected. So
Yeah.
I'll back up and I'll talk about our alignment.
Okay.
So if your shoulders and your hips are aligned, a lot of times in Pilates we talk about our powerhouse, or sometimes we talk about the box of our body, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, and we want those to be aligned. You don't want one shoulder forward, one hip rotated. It's very difficult to have a functional movement when you have twists and turns and bends and hikes in your body. And so a lot of times what I work with people, and we try, and I'll give a few exercises in a moment to help with that. If you have shoulder pain and your alignment is out, I will look not at your shoulder, but at your hips. And if I can get your hips aligned, more often than not, your shoulder pain will go away as soon as we get your hips aligned. So sometimes where you feel the pain is not necessarily where the problem is. So what I find so rewarding in my job and in my life is that I look at, not necessarily, I listen to what people are saying, but I try to find out why. It's kind of fun. It's like a puzzle, and everybody's different. It's not every single time somebody has shoulder pain, this is what I do. No, I look at them. I look at them from all different angles. I look, what plane are they deviating from? And then I try to put them back into that plane. Sometimes it works quickly. Sometimes it takes a few sessions. And I want to teach you how to figure that out in your own body. So with mobility, if your fascia is tight, like I said with my wrist here, if I can't bend my wrist or straighten my pinky, I might, maybe my hand is turned. Well, I'm going to have difficulty doing all of my movements this way. Then my shoulder might start to roll forward. I'm going to be in pain, and I'm not going to have any strength in this position. So if I'm reaching for something and picking it up here, this is not a, so if I'm picking something up like this, okay, this is all here. This is a small muscle. Whereas if I went and turned my body to face the ball and picked it up using these muscles back here, I was able to get my back, my bicep, all of these muscles working together which would increase my strength. So in getting you aligned, first of all, I've been able to increase my mobility and increase my strength. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to me.
And be pain-free.
You guys can, why don't you, anyone want to put anything in the chat as far as what Renee said so far, or if it's making sense, or if you want any clarification? Or maybe we start with if anyone has a specific question so far.
Yeah, give me some requests.
Come on, let's get some
I have
chat going
nothing
on.
planned.
No one wants to chat. Whoa. Come on, Elise, Nancy. I think a lot of people have their cameras off because they're probably at work cheating and
That's
taking a
okay.
break because they wanted to listen to you.
Well, I did speak to one person on the video this week. I spoke to somebody on Wednesday, and I know for a fact that she has to go in for some shoulder surgery. And one thing that often helps is when our hips are misaligned, sometimes that can help shoulders. So how about I give you something for that?
Yes.
Okay. So if my pelvis is, I'll sit up a little bit. If my pelvis is hiked on one side, so I've hiked up this hip, notice what's happening to my neck and my shoulder. I'm not trying to do this. Can you see how I'm a little twisted? So one exercise I like to do, and I'm going to do it in this Buddhist pose, but you can definitely do it seated, okay? And I'll turn sideways so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. There. Okay. So I'm going to spill my hips forward and let my belly go. I know from a Pilates instructor, we're always saying draw it in and up. Sometimes it's best to just relax. I'm not pushing down into my pelvic floor. I wouldn't want to do that. But I also just want to kind of relax my belly sometimes. One thing that I forgot to mention, breath is really important, and not moving super fast and going from 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. We really want to sometimes slow down and let our tissue catch up, if you will. So normally I would do this exercise with the palms on top of the head, but I know that my friend here has some shoulder pain. So what I have her do is either touch the tips of her shoulders or cross her hands across the chest. So I'm going to do it in this version today. So I'm simply squeezing the shoulder blades gently together. That opens the chest. My hips are spilled forward, so you can be seated in a chair or you can sit like this. And we're going to inhale. As we exhale, rotate your torso to one side. Finish the exhale. You will notice your abs probably engage a little bit. That's okay. Inhale to the center and exhale to the other side. Now I'm going to keep going with this exercise, trying to keep a gentle squeeze between the shoulder blades. So we're getting the body into alignment. And normally I do 10, but we're just going to do 5. Now, if it's the end of the day and say I've had a really stressful day, instead of exhaling through the mouth, I might exhale through my nose. This will help to tune the vagal nerve down to allow me to go into my parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest, getting me out of the fight or flight. We'll do one more time. And last time. Okay, so what that exercise does is affects the pelvic tilt, okay? So that helps to get the shoulders and the neck and everything into better alignment. From this position, I might have her lie down, okay? And we'll do the next one lying down. I'm going to use this ball, all right? And I'm going to focus on the torso now. So the first thing I did is focused on the hips. Now I'm going to focus on the shoulders. Now, I'm not sure, I'm trying not to say her name, if, because I don't want to embarrass her, but
I
if
don't
her,
I don't think she might. So Renee, is
yeah,
that like the size of a bender? Is that like a bender
oh,
ball?
yes, this is just like a bender ball. I took my bender ball to Ability 360 and I'm going to need more. So I'm going to take my bender ball and place it between my knees. and then lie on my side. So I'll do this in both angles. I love this exercise because it feels really good for me anyway. Can you see everything? I can't tell. Can you see
Yes, we
my full
can.
body? Okay.
Yeah.
So right now I've got my head hanging. If this feels bad on the shoulder, my friend might skip this one, but this is kind of a nice one. So I've got the ball and I want to bring my legs closer than 90 degrees. So I'm almost in a fetal position. This is where it gets tough. I want to tilt my tailbone back. So I'm almost arching my lower back in this position. From here, I'm really tightening up the fascia right here in the front of the core and in the hip flexor. But by letting my tailbone go back, I'm tractioning my lumbar spine. From here, I take my top arm, and it's really important that I keep my tailbone back because I want to keep this chest, my top chest is going to open up toward the ceiling. If I tuck my butt under, I fall right to the floor. So if I have my tailbone back when I do this, it's a bit of a stretch, and I'm letting my breath, and if my shoulder hurts, I'd simply put my hand on my chest and focus more on my chest. Because again, this is about the ribs opening up to allow the shoulders to get back into alignment. And after about, I don't know, 10 breaths here, my tailbone is still back. It's very tempting to want to tuck it under. And then eventually my shoulder actually is now touching the floor. I didn't tuck my butt under. I just opened up the top ribs. And then after about 10 breaths, I'll come back and very carefully remove the ball first and come up. And if you're tiny, you're really small in the hips, the ball might be too big for you. I like to have something to squeeze to keep my pelvis in alignment. So here it could, I don't have one handy, but a yoga block would work, or just a small lumbar roll would be fine too. If this is too small, maybe you have a lot more space, you can get like a thick pillow or something like that. But I do like props for this. I'm going to do the second one just real quick so you can see from the back angle. No, I'll do it from this angle, I guess. Sorry. Okay, so once again, the tailbone is back. The knees are closer than 90. So I'm really trying to pull my knees into my belly here. And then when I open up, I'm here. So I'm breathing into the top side. Again, pelvis is back. And it really feels nice. It feels good in my back too. So how does that feel? Is that doable? So that we were working the muscles, we were stretching, but we were also releasing fascia.
That looks yummy.
It does feel good.
That's great. And this is a particular shoulder issue for the unnamed. But could probably work for many of us. I think Miranda has a question. You can go ahead.
I actually have two, Renee. One, I wanted to know what your opinions or your thoughts are on tools for fascia. I'm sure maybe you've heard of the fascia blaster, but there's all kinds of different things out there. I've heard good and bad things. So can you talk about using a tool at all for manipulation?
Yes, I'll keep it a little bit brief. However, I love tools. I use vibrating balls. I use a vibrating platform. I use hand tools because I learned early on that when I do manual work, it's a killer on the hands. For the first year or so, I'd have to put my hands in ice water at the end of the night because my hands were so sore. And then I realized, there's probably better ways. I use the gua sha, and I actually teach people how to use it. I use the jade or the rose quartz, but they come in all different types. They come in glass and metal. And usually they're kind of heart-shaped, or they're just little tools that we use to release. I use them a lot in my daily beauty treatment, but it's a great way to get a little deeper into the deeper fascia. Rolga has I'm sorry, I didn't think to bring all my stuff out. But Rolga has one of my favorite little tools. It's part ball with little nubs on it. And I love that.
Similar to this?
Yes, that is so amazing. Can we get a picture of that? I don't know if you guys can see it, or we can put it in the link. Sorry.
These were in the goodie bags last year.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
that's the mini. They're all coming to Fitness Fest, so they'll all
great.
find out what you're about and what Rogue is. But
Oh,
we will put
wonderful.
we will put that in the chat. No,
Yeah, they're
Miranda will.
yes. So here's the thing about tools, and I use so many different ones. The fascia blaster is another one that I love. Here's what we have to understand: we don't want to go deep and hard. And I use everything. I use hard rollers. I use soft rollers. I use little pool noodles that I buy at Costco. I've been doing this long enough that even when I'm working with a professional athlete, I am going to go soft with them before I go hard. And I will tell you, they never, once we've got them, sometimes it's right away. Sometimes it takes about a month, 3 or 4 visits, but their pain doesn't come back. They come back to me with a whole new thing because they got injured doing something else. It's the same thing when I'm working with a 97-year-old and when I'm working 14-year-old high school athlete. When we go soft, we have a better chance of getting results. First of all, then let me just give you, and I'm going to get back to the tools. Hold on. So if you had a bruise on your arm, Miranda, and I walked up to you and said, "Hey, Miranda, does that hurt?" You'd be like, "Get her away from me. I don't like her. I never want to see her again." But if I walked up to you and started touching you very softly and I said, "Miranda, you poor thing," you'd look at me and go, "Yeah, she gets me. She can stay. I like her." And that's how our tissue reacts. So this is how I found. If I do that, I can go in softly. I can go in softly again, and I can keep slowly getting deeper. But if I go too fast, too hard, it can be, we'll get nowhere. And I mean, and it's painful. I mean, anybody that's rolled out their IT band knows. I have some fun little ways, and I'm going to teach that in the mobility class about how to release your IT band for good. If you've got chronic IT band issues and rolling it out before and after every single workout, you're doing something wrong. So we can fix that. So with the tools, the fascia blaster, I love. It's wonderful. It feels great. Here's my take on it. Because I work with people that have had cancer and lymphoma, if I start going too deep in there, I can really mess them up. And no one talks about that. So again, less is more. Okay, don't go super deep. You should not be bruising when you do this. I know there's a train of thought where they say you should have these bruises. These bruises are good. This is how you're going to get rid of cellulite. I'd rather you wear compression stockings, like those tights that are real. Well, these are Fenkas, something like that. That will help you get that compression, and then use your fascia blasta over it instead of going deep into the skin and causing damage. And so when you're young, you don't really know that. But as you get older and you start working with people with serious injuries, like I said, less is more, and we do see results. They might take, I want to say I get people there faster. People will go to PT for 6 months and then they come and see me and they're still messed up. And then they're good in 1 or 2 visits. So
That's awesome.
yeah. Does that
Thank
answer
you.
your question?
No, it does. Thank you. Because I've had one for many, many years and I've used it. I loved it. And then I heard other people don't use it. So I just thought when I heard fascia, I'm like, I got to ask you about that.
Oh, no. And they have some fantastic tools. In fact, I broke my original one. And I think it was 4. Is it 4 or 3?
I've got a paddle. I've got a 4 one. I got the hand.
Okay, what's the one that looks like
the 4, the handle with the 4 sprouts.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So mine broke, and I took the little things off, and I started I have one in my travel bag. Whenever I'm on a plane, I'm just like very lightly massage because it fits your hand perfectly. And it's so great. And then I just gave them to clients. I'm like, here, take this, work on your fascia when you travel.
One for you, one for you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. We've got another question in the chat from Whitney. Incredible. Is there an exercise or stretch that can help with hip alignment? That's probably another hour, right?
It is.
And you knew I had that issue, of course. And so
yes. So first of all, this one here is my favorite for hip alignment. Okay, number 1, because it's simple and it's easy. Another one that I've taught before, I'm going to stand up and you won't see me, but you'll see my leg. So what I'm going to do here is place the ball, Bender balls are great for this, between my inner thighs. I'm not going to engage my muscles here, okay? And I'm going to look like Apollo Onan here. You see the muscle here. And I want to walk my ankles and knees, so they're
I
right in
want to say,
alignment.
if anybody hops in right now, it'll be a very odd picture. It's awesome. It's pretty funny.
Yes. So I'm going to turn sideways. So what I don't want is to be tucking my butt under or arching my butt back. So I want to align myself. So my heels to ankle. Okay. So I want to be slightly forward on my heels. I want to feel my ankle, my knee, my pelvis, my ribs, my shoulders and head. You can do a side view in the mirror. And then I just have people hold this. Now, as we were talking about soft and hard, I would hold this for about 2 minutes while you brush your teeth. I use a much firmer ball. It's called what is it called? Anyway, goodness, I forgot the name. She's not teaching at Fitness Fest, so it doesn't matter. It's a dense ball. It's a therapy ball that I use, and I do the same thing. And that's what I do with people with scoliosis and people with very big deviations in their hip, in their lumbar spine. But just by holding this, now here's what's important, Miranda. Make sure you push your big toe into the floor, and it depends if you're a supinate, if you tend to put your weight more on the outside of your foot, but big toe mound must stay down, and then a little bit of pressure on the outer heel. That activates the arch of the foot. But as I take this out, I'm going to feel like Jello. I wasn't even in there for yeah, feels like Jello. So what that will do is if you have any rotation in your hip or any hike in your hip, that will help to put it in. Does that help? It's usually free. I mean, if I didn't have a ball, I could use a pillow. I like this size, but I go for them really, really dense, and I can get there a little quicker. But like I said, I when I have kids with scoliosis, this is one of the first exercises. Don't use a medicine ball. I've had people do that. But
That
like a
would be,
soccer ball,
sounds like it would be really hard.
it's
The
not
medicine ball.
easy. The hardest thing, and it's on one of my YouTube videos, the hardest thing about that is to relax your muscles and let the fascia move the bone, if that makes sense. So as I let go of the muscle, the fascia, because like I said, the fascia communicates with everything. Okay. So if my proprioception, my brain, my nervous system is saying, hey, the right hip's a little higher, it's going to start to come down, or the left one's going to come back up to meet it. And then my ribs, if there's a rotation in the ribs, the fascial system is going to put it back into alignment. The shoulders are going to come back into alignment. And I didn't even engage my muscle. That's one of my favorite ones to teach. Now, most people will feel their shins or their ankles. They'll be like, what is that tingly feeling? It's almost like they've fallen asleep. It's okay. After you take the ball away, you'll be like, oh my gosh, my back pain went away. My neck pain went. Usually women feel it in their back and men feel it in their upper back. I'm not sure why, but that's just something I've noticed.
Awesome. Very, very good. I'm going to respect everyone's time and wrap up with any more Q&A. There's a few more things I want to talk about. So Whitney put is this, oh, great. She already put your YouTube channel in the chat.
It's great. that
These are
one's
my
kind of old.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Renee has a YouTube channel. She's very generous with her. When I worked with her, she would always like, oh, let's record this and go do this at home. Oh, let's record this. And so very generous with her guidance, her information, her knowledge. So, but she's made lots of little videos, short ones, long ones, YouTube channel. And then you've just started a new subscription too. Want to share that with us, and we'll put it in the
Yes.
chat?
Thank you. Yes, it's reneebrackney.com. And what it is I curate exercises for my members. So it's a members only service. It's for people that don't have time to come see me. I have a pretty booked schedule. And also, if you can't make a class or you live far away, you don't live in Arizona, a lot of times what I teach in class will be an inspiration for what I film. Most of the videos are under 30 minutes. Some are 5 minutes, some are 10. And every month I do a Zoom call, and we talk about whatever is on your mind, whatever you want to focus on, and then I curate exercises for you. And it's a communication. We usually communicate via email. Some people text me, and I will get back to you if you have any questions. But it's kind of a members only service where you have access to me, And I'm keeping it pretty cheap. It's $12.99 a month, or if you buy for the year, it's 120, so it's $10 a
Awesome.
month. So yeah,
ReneeBrackney.com. We did put
yeah.
that in the chat. That's awesome. It's new. It's very, very good idea. Like you said, not everyone can see you or come see you, and it's just such a variety of filming that you do. And I know you do an awful lot of
And this is
filming.
my
And
first advertising for it because I
yeah, well,
got,
there, woohoo, yeah.
I know it's just a word of mouth, so it's been kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, you're very popular and with good reason. And you can also come see you at Fitness Fest, April
So
4th to
excited.
the 6th. On Saturday, the 5th at 1:40, you're actually teaching increase your mobility working with fascia. And if you're not already signed up, Renee's workshops, they fill up pretty quick. So, and then on Sunday at 9:50, you're doing Mobilize the Pilates Way. And we just put on the website, we're now selling by the workshop. But full weekend, 2 day, 1 day, lots of options. If one of you girls, Whitney or Plexi or um Whitney or Plexi or Miranda can put the website in the chat, that would be great. I would love to, this has been fabulous, Renee.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
as always to see you
So
and
happy to be
get
here.
this great information. And then anyone who is, this is recorded. And so if you want to see it again, or if you want to share it, we will, we will have it recorded. It's going to stream on over to Facebook in a little bit as soon as it's downloaded. And then if you are on this, what our plan is, and this is our new campaign. And if you're already on our list, we're going to continue to send you invites. If you can't do it, just say don't accept, we don't want to, force you, force family fun. But we have a really exciting one for next Wednesday. And Renee, of course, Stephanie Kroon, you guys shared a workshop last year, and she's amazing as well. And this is going to be a super great one also, just like today was. And we're talking about toxins what's in your kitchen, what's in your laundry room, what's in your bathroom. Like a lot of the things that you'll be kind of surprised at. And so she's an expert on that. And what's super exciting is she's coming to my office, and we're actually going to be, she's putting my feet, if you've ever heard of the ionic foot bath. She's putting my feet in this, and you get to see live how many toxins Janice Jakes has in her body, which will be like crazy. So while my feet are soaking, because I guess it takes 35 minutes to the end, to see it all. I guess you look at the water and it's like it starts clear and it doesn't end so clear. So you'll get to see that. And while my feet are soaking and working on the toxins, getting all the toxins, she'll be talking about not what's in your wallet, but what's in your kitchen, what's in your bathroom, what's in your laundry room. So it'll be a great one. It's actually going to be 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Wednesday. And then we have another one. We're going to start doing two times a week. I forget which one we're doing next Friday, and maybe Miranda knows that if she has a quick answer for that. But so subscribe for Renee. And if you needed her contact information or anything, just always reach out to me or to us. And so hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday at 4, and then our 11:30 a.m. Friday as well. We'll have a great topic as well. So
Yeah, Friday will be Jen Gerasimus, the solo trainer.
oh, awesome. And she talks about starting a business, or if you're in business, and insurance and what to charge and all those things that you may or may not know to have a successful business. She's going to be a Fitness Fest presenter as well. So that's going to be Friday. So we'll wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you all for great for signing on and for being live with us. We appreciate it. I hope you loved it, and I know you will. Thank you so much, Renee, and thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.